Hey, welcome back to another episode of Heroes and Videos. We're going to be looking at new comics that I've picked up recently. Got some really cool stuff. Some conversation around what makes Superman great, what makes Spider-Man great, and what makes Captain America great. A number of things that these guys over here over my shoulder have in common, and what just really make them some of the best heroes I think that are out there. I'm going to be running through these pretty quick, and at the end of the video I'm going to have an unbagging from Oni Press, which is just a fantastic independent publisher, and I'm always excited to do an unbagging, a little preview. It's Mind Management #1. I'm going to read you a little bit off of the back as we get closer to that, but we'll be doing that unbagging at the end, as well as the last the Ultimate Universe has its Ultimate Endgame, and it wraps up. Stick around for that. We're going to be getting right into it, a bit of a lightning round again. Go see Supergirl if you haven't already. It's out now in theaters. U.S. has advanced to the next round of the World Cup. All kinds of other great news, but before I get into any of that or into any of the comics we're going to be looking at, please hit like, subscribe, notifications, all that random YouTube stuff. That helps the channel. And it is greatly appreciated by your host. So let's get right into it. First up, Richard and John, particularly from Modern Gods, this Bronze and Modern Gods, excuse me, didn't mean to leave out the bronze there. This is World's Finest 52, and you may notice this has started a series that stars or brings back a hero that might be near and dear to some of your hearts. If you look up there in the corner, of course I picked the wrong corner. This corner, that is Travis Morgan, Warlord, and as this book is done, it's showing us an earlier era of DC history where Dick Grayson is Robin, and it's bringing the not just the dynamic duo but the World's Finest duo as well into the world of the Warlord there, and it's really good as always. Mark Waid's doing the writing. It's not Dan Moore on the art, but honestly I couldn't tell. Gutierrez, it looks like, is on the art, and this is the second issue. So if you love just good old-fashioned storytelling with excitement, like popcorn movie kind of stuff, this is the book for you. So check out World's Finest. It's got, like I say, the Warlord in it. You're dropped in the middle of the action in the last issue, 51. And I don't know anything really about the history of that character, but it just kind of fills you in. I'm not sure who some of these side characters are, but it's basically DC's Savage Land, and it's a very cool book, and it always brings something new to light in the whole Superman, Batman, Robin dynamic there. Next up, Justice League Unlimited. Speaking of Mark Waid, he and Dan Mora are doing this. Great book. I missed the last issue or two. I have them, I just haven't read them yet. DC's doing this fascinating experiment after DC KO, where the villains have amnesty. It's villain amnesty. So they're looking to to get the help of the villains with whatever's going on. And there's some interesting dynamics around that in this book, where seem to be different levels of what we will allow people to do and not do. There's a great sequence with Batman and Luthor where Batman's willing to accept a lot of the villain's help, but not Luthor in one instance. And so there are two storylines going on here. The one you see on the cover is Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl Metamorpho facing off against, and Mr. Terrific's in there somewhere, a group of aliens that all have the Justice League powers. And that's kind of the B story, which is weird that it's in this book or it's on the cover. The other story I found much more fascinating. It's got the Brainiac Queen coming back, and just Justice League Unlimited, month in and month out. It's just wonderful storytelling and a really good, just fun book. Exciting, like I say, big popcorn movie stuff from Mark Waid that just keeps you engaged and thrilling from one really exciting moment until the next. Taking a little slowing things down a little bit. This is Wonder Man #4. I believe the next issue is of course it's the 5th, but I believe the next issue is the conclusion of this miniseries, To Love and Die in L.A. It's kind of neat to see these characters get together. It's Simon Williams and Patsy Walker. So just thought that was cool, and I've been enjoying the book. It's a good read. Things I haven't read since maybe the 90s. I read a little Concrete back then. Paul Chadwick's Concrete is back. What I remembered about this book, and this is a 5-issue miniseries, it's called Stars Over Sand. What I remember about this book is the Concrete character was that it's ordinary. It's the idea of somebody, and Stephen King did a great job of this in terms of taking ordinary people and putting them in an extraordinary circumstance. And in this case, the extraordinary circumstance is that this character is made of concrete, but he's human. You know, he was human before he was made of concrete, if you will. And of course, that may be part of the story, is whether or not he's still human. But he's, you know, it's ordinary stuff. They're at a campground. Some weird stuff happens, but it's always a very ordinary plot. Like, you're writing with this extraordinary character, and his perspective is very interesting as well. So very philosophical. So if you liked Concrete back in the day, you will like Concrete now. Next up, my favorite character. This cover struck me as a little weird. Amazing Spider-Man 31. We are up to Legacy 995. So boys and girls, we are rapidly swinging towards 1,000. It says The Talk. I gotta be honest, when I see things like The Talk, and I'm looking at Ben and May Parker, I'm afraid we're about to get a flashback to Peter Parker getting the birds and the bees talk from his guardians. They're his aunt and uncle. Thankfully, that is not what The Talk is, really. But I'm not. I love Spider-Man. You guys know that from watching the channel. I'm not as impressed with this great reveal that's happened in the last issue or two. Curious to see where it goes. Love the variant cover over my shoulder here. Kudos to Alex Ross, who's awesome. Alex, I'm sure you're watching. You know what I think of your work. But Amazing Spider-Man 31, still a good book. I'm enjoying the interpersonal, you know, the conflicts they've got going on. And honestly, the end of this one wraps up with it's a pretty neat battle, and I just love the fact that they haven't dropped the space characters. Like Rayleigh is Peter's latest love interest shows up as well. Though I'm not sure she understands the whole secret identity concept at this point. But yeah, I'm enjoying Amazing Spider-Man. Uncanny X-Men. I talked at the top of the show about what makes Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man great. What made Uncanny X-Men great way back in the day, just like with New Teen Titans, was those moments, those issues where they took time to just chill, right, and be human. And I mean all humans, including mutants obviously in that, but just to see interpersonal relationships just taking time to chill out. As crazy as this cover looks with Mars Needs Mutants, and Uncanny X-Men number 30, Legacy 730, there's a beautiful scene with Nightcrawler in here with his love interest, and I can't remember the lady's name. She's a teacher, I believe, and they're just having a picnic and chilling out, and it's really a beautiful scene. Now, the fact that Mars Needs Mutants, if that's what's going on here, interrupts that scene, but it's just nice. I want to say there's a few pages at least of they're just chilling out, talking about people stuff, and picnic, and it's what drew me to the original, the Uncanny X-Men books, the John Byrne and Chris Claremont, Dave Cockrum stuff. But we need more of that in comics, I think. And there's some of that in here. If you're not reading either the X-Men or Uncanny or adjectiveless X-Men, you should be picking them up. Speaking of things you should be picking up, Absolute Batman. This is Absolute Two-Face on the cover. Saw a great review from another YouTuber that pointed out, said like almost every issue of this book is, wow, I can't believe that happened. And this one's no exception. Recent issues, they've shown up with the Robins and the various Robins, and of course because it's Absolute Universe, things are different. I don't remember if it's that issue or a prior issue. I was very impressed with the fact that shout out Dick Grayson is still trying, it looks like, to do the right thing, maybe more so than other Robins. But that, yeah, Absolute Batman, still a banger. I know everybody talks about it. Presumably everybody's reading it at this point. If you're not, pick it up. Really, really good book. Speaking of really good books, the other half of the world's finest duo, Superman. Superman is missing after DCKO wrapped up. So all of the Superman titles, very much like the post Death of Superman books in the 90s, are each of the books are focusing on different folks. I mean, there's Supergirl, there's Action Comics, which is currently back in past Superboy, if you will, and this one is dealing with Superboy Prime, or Prime, I think is what he goes by. And if you remember, he had a pretty rough history around the Infinite Crisis stuff, where he was just legitimately just tearing people apart. He was, for those of you that aren't tapped in, he's a Superman of Earth Prime, which in the old DC universe stuff was supposed to be our universe. So he's from a universe where there are comic books, and the adventures of these people are told in those stories, in comics. So he's very familiar with the DC universe that he's living in because he used to read about it. And he's also breaks the fourth wall. He seems to understand that he's in a comic in a lot of these things, as well as character works in the comic shop. The arc of this character, though, is that he knows he had a rough past. He knows he's done some terrible things, particularly now that our Superman is gone. He's trying to live up to that model. Like, what would Clark do? What would Superman do? How can Superman Prime or Superboy Prime be a better person? And that's a great message for all of us, right? So it's interesting to see this character struggle. Now, he does have a dark side, so there's some concern about, not dark side, but dark side, SIDE. He does have a dark side to him, so he's always fighting against his worst impulses, which again, everybody should be able to understand that, to empathize with that. So, and I just love this Norman Rockwell-esque cover. It looks like, I have to guess it's an actual page from Action 1, like, what's in the bubble there. I honestly don't know. Haven't pulled out my copy of Action 1 in a while, as in, I don't have one. If you do, please please mention in the comments, because you should. If you do have one, kudos to you. But love this arc. In fact, in the next issue, that was 38, in the next issue, 39, you'll see the panel breakage here. There's some of that going on in the book. And he's literally telling us to get out of there. That's he's reaching out of the book with that giant Kirby hand. There's a great scene in this where all of a sudden he appears and he's back in that Infinite Crisis moment where he's and it's just heartbreaking to see this character go, please no, not this. Like, he doesn't want to relive that. He knows he has to make different decisions, but somehow he presumably finds himself back at that time where he did all this terrible thing. So really good character study of Superman or Superboy Prime in the current Superman book, so pick it up. Now, talking about things that make characters great, we were just talking about that struggle, that human struggle that's going on with Superman or Superboy Prime. One of the things that makes Superman great is showcased, how about for a DC pun, huh? Is showcased in Absolute Superman number 20. That's the Steel character in the background. This is Black Adam. I think he's actually called Shazam in this, but or King Shazam. And that's Superman from the Absolute Universe there. Hawkman is in here as well. I was looking to see if I saw his wings anywhere. Great character study in this too, and we've seen this in earlier issues of Absolute Superman, where he faced off against the parasite creature, even Lois Lane. The book seems to show how good, what a great role model, or what a great role model example that Superman is, that character, in terms of always wanting the best for people, always persevering, always trying to do the right thing, putting other people ahead of yourself, that kind of thing. And it's not just him doing that, it's other people's reaction to when he's doing that. Like Hawkman in particular here, I think, is having an arc where, folks just like Lois, just like all of Metropolis, when there was concern that parasite character was infecting all of them, I won't say with evil, but he, and yet Superman's character, his example, is showing these people a better way to live. And I just find like that's just awesome, and this is just a great use of, and it's what really makes Superman great, I think. Another character that's very similar to that is Steve Rogers, Captain America. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you read the last issue of Captain America, you might be wondering why he's on this cover. And I'll avoid spoilers as best I can here. It's called Hell's Angel, Part 1. nice little play on words. Hell is with Hell's Angels, the motorcycle group, but Hell's Angel, Part 1. Captain America. So spoilers for the last issue of this, and for just the premise of this book. Give me a minute, I guess, before you jump back in. Captain America is in Hades. I'm gonna say to keep it clean for the kiddies, and with him there is that masked green hooded character that you all might know as Victor Von Doom. So it's pretty neat because the Mephisto's the big bad in this book, and his Steve Rogers' soul, I think, is there in Hades alongside Doctor Doom, who is recruiting him to help free the characters that are in purgatory, that are in Hades. That it's basically an uprising against Mephisto. And what's neat is watching Steve Rogers' goodness, innate character, morality, whatever you want to call it, infect others and inspire others. Inspire is a way better word than infect there. Inspire others. So, and it's always kind of cool when Doom and Rogers are together. So hopefully the movie, let's take RDJ out of it, but hopefully having those two actors, there are always some great parallels with those characters in terms of how they match up against each other, not necessarily from a power set, but from a philosophical set, if that makes sense. So Captain America number 12, we are up to Legacy 783 with that one. Speaking of what we're up to, we are up to the last issue of Ultimate Endgame. This is the regular cover, I believe. You'll see Doom, Wolverine, Captain America, Storm, America Chavez, Iron Man, the X character that's got a giant pink armor around them, maybe called armor. I can't see who's behind the title card there. I've been less than impressed with this book. I've really enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimates have been very good. Those are the two that I've kind of latched onto. Some of the work they've done with Doom there in the front there, Reed Richards' character, has just been exemplary. I have not been impressed with the first few issues of this book. I liked this one. This one, it all kinds of comes together, and is this the end of the Ultimate Universe? You will have to read to find out. I will say I am most impressed with the variant cover over here behind me, and the ending completely took me by surprise, and maybe brought a little tear to your host's eye here. So yeah, Ultimate Endgame number 5. I'm sure it'll catch you up if you haven't read the first few, but it was a really good capstone, if you will, to the Ultimate Universe. And again, I'm just thrilled beyond what I can express at the actual final ending, the coda, if you will. So pick that up. Now, let's get into that blind bagging. Mind management. Sorry, guys, I'm going to try to wrap us up before the 20-minute mark. What sold me on this is, besides hearing that Oni Press is just a great publisher, putting out some fantastic stuff, so it says Oni Press on it, you should buy it. But the wording at the back of the foil, the classified foil you hold in your hands is designed with a twofold purpose. The first is to obscure the contents held within. I mean, that kind of pulled me in just because it's so blatantly, I don't want to say sarcastic. This is your first test. With the foil unopened, the possibilities are nearly infinite. Unopened, this bag contains the secret history of the world, single-spaced and typewritten in the smallest typeface, still legible to the human eye. Or, it's possible. It could be, to uncommon knowledge, you'll be disappointed to note that Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone shooter, but you might be surprised to learn that his widow's wife was responsible for the poisoning death of Marilyn Monroe. Now, we're not saying that this is a secret contained within this foil wrapping. It's just an example of the kind of hidden knowledge that could be here. Or it could contain 24 pages of original paintings detailing original paintings of monarch butterflies, or the entire life cycle of monarch butterflies. Or it could be a story of two mind management detectives struggling to solve a series of impossible murders. Unopened, however, this foil package will continue to hold the power of infinite possibility. Now that's just really kind of cool. And I know we're going over the 20-minute mark, kids, so just hang in there. I just thought this was such a cool, and as you can see, it's pretty, sorry for the glare, but the print is pretty small, and I'm reading you just a brief part of what's back here. But it's just hilarious that whoever wrote this copy, because it then goes on to say the second purpose of the foil wrapping is to serve as insulation, to protect you from harmful thoughts. To employ this device, you will unfortunately have to unwrap this package, place the foil around your head, taking special care to make sure it covers your ears and forehead. Once the foil is secure, you will start to feel a wave of new thoughts. These thoughts will start as self-conscious feelings of self-doubt. You'll feel like you look ridiculous, and it sounds like I would. That all of this is just a fraud perpetrated by a callous publisher of books. But if you keep the foil deployed long enough, you will start to enjoy a new freedom. A freedom from the cares about what others think of you. And that freedom will come with a new sense of peace as the foil crinkles in your ears and starts to sound like the white noise of the ocean. A little crinkle there. I just thought that was really funny. Censor yourself on a beach, cinch yourself on a beach, relaxing. It's so much easier this way. Let us take it from here. Thinking is hard. Focus on your breathing, eating, sleeping, working, paying bills. While Icarus falls into the ocean unnoticed. We'll do the rest. You're busy. We get it. So I just thought if that's any indication of how this book is written, I am on board. So let's take a look. And again, I have no idea what I'm getting here. Let's see if I can do it without damaging the book. I have no idea what I'm getting. It's I've only read a few Oni Press books. I think they do Savor, which I was a big fan of, so I haven't been able to locate the last issue. I'm trying to very carefully cut the bag. So this is going to be a little lost on me. If you guys do read Oni, or you've been familiar with mind management at all, you can let me know if this is a big deal or not. This is the back. It's the new and improved Matt Kent. Oh, wait, does that say Chase Foil limited to 500? Did I just spoil myself? I kind of wanted you guys to see it before I did. So let's see what we have here. Ooh, wow. All right. That's creepy looking. I have no idea what I'm looking at there. But if what it says on the back is the case, this is J.H. Williams III. It's the Chase Foil limited to 500 copies. So I guess that makes it kind of rare, right? Let's see if it's like DC and they do. Nope, there's not another cover on the inside. That's how it starts. Vapid Gas. Are you okay? That's as much spoilage, whatever's the right way, as I'm going to give you. But I don't know, and I'll need to look up in Google. You guys can tell me if that's a big deal or not. It is apparently limited to 500 copies, which feels like a big deal. Mind Management, new and improved. Mind Management #1 by Matt Kent. So that's what I got in the blind bag. Let me know if you guys are reading Mind Management. Let me know in the comments if what you think, or if this is cool or not. Let me know what if you got a blind bag. Let me know what you got. So with that, we are wrapping up this edition of Heroes and Videos. Like I say, go see Supergirl. Got Spider-Man coming out in a month or so. If you haven't seen Spider Noir, check it out. I'm going to try to get a video up reviewing that, because that is just incredibly enjoyable, just like great fun. In the meantime, thanks for sticking around to the end. As always, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies in theaters, and be kind to each other.